Good afternoon, Xin Chao from Vietnam. On this lovely January day, it's the end of the month, and I'm just going to make a couple videos here talking both about current events and about my plans for what's really the next year is the Year of the Pig, which hasn't started yet. So thankfully there's still time to make some resolutions and some plans. First, I wanted to say that I'm not as interested in covering news events, and I'm going to focus more on other things. But this recent event with the Covington students at the National Mall really kind of bothered me, because it reminds me of something that happened to me a year ago when I was bullied and harassed for posting a meme to what I thought was a private page. And I actually got attacked by the media myself. I think it was MSNBC or one of the national networks, but it's Vietnamese location network. So I was in national and even international news because of just a meme that I posted. It was not any comment that I had made. But even a few days ago, I got a disparaging comment on one of my videos, or it wasn't a video or a post that I made on Facebook, I think, with a screen grab of me posting that meme. And so it still comes back now and then. It's been a year since that, and a few people have gotten serious trouble. But I won't talk much about that. But it was scary for a few days, few weeks. I was just getting hundreds and hundreds of death threats and messages like that, simply because I had been doxxed, and, well, not doxxed necessarily, but my profile was out there and I wasn't hiding anything. And in the whole incident, there were friends of mine who ended up leaving Vietnam or getting their, or changing their accounts completely or deleting them or whatever. Not me. I stuck with the same old stuff, and with time, it seemed like it wasn't going to follow me or hurt me, but at the same time, here it is. You know, just a couple days ago, a year after this whole incident, I'm still getting hate for it. And again, I guess there's nothing private on the internet, and you know, I make these videos and I don't get that many views, but I still think, you know, I am willing to stand behind what I have to say. So anyway, regarding the Covington kids, you see them, there was that just one brief few seconds of video that everyone saw, even though the media knew that there was more recordings, because in any situation, this is becoming more and more apparent with everyone having tablets and phones. Like, we can record all news stories, and so we often beat the media to the punch. But at the same time, they are using this to generate outrage, clickbait. They want people to click on their site. They want to find these Nazis, just like they want to find these communist-hating foreigners or whatever. You know, if you say something or look the wrong way, or I guess smile wrong, yeah, I guess that's incriminating now. We are in the age of kangaroo courts, truly. And even my liberal friends who have walked back from it and said, okay, well, we were too quick to condemn these kids and to put pictures of them next to civil rights protesters in the 60s or whatever. Yeah, okay, we jumped to conclusions. But there is still this problem of whether it's toxic masculinity or these white kids are being coddled. We're coddling them too much. I keep hearing that. I'm not sure what coddling means. In this case, it's certainly not coddling to threaten to punch someone, to go after them. Was it one SNL writer was offering sexual favors in return for hurting these kids or something? And I say kids, and everyone's like, oh, they're not kids, they're teenagers. Well, wasn't Trayvon Martin a kid? Do you want me to call him an adult now? Do you want me to refer to that situation as he was an adult that was attacked or whatever? Which is a whole different story. If you look into that whole thing, if you research the evidence, you'd be surprised at how wrong you were, as I certainly was, because I rushed to assumptions because that's what the media does. You know, that's what it wants. It doesn't care about the actual people that it goes out and hurts. It doesn't care about who gets doxxed, who gets death threats. The poor school, the Covington school, they had to hire armed guards and everything. They had to stay closed for a while. So I think it's right to call these kids, children. And I also think it's wrong to try to defend the media. I mean, why are we sticking up for these assholes? These people that said we should go after these students, you know. And I'm not going to walk through all the facts. I'm not going to explain the video to you. Watch the video. And if you watch that and you still think something like, oh, well, the natives, I mean, it was only the black Hebrew Israelites who were shouting slurs. The natives didn't do anything. Well, they were just raising awareness, one of my friends said. They were just raising awareness. But you see clearly in the video that one of the elders, or I guess whatever you would call him, he was with the drummer. He was shouting at a kid, this isn't your land. White people go back to Europe. Can you imagine saying that to any other race? Would you say to a Vietnamese person in America, go back to Vietnam? Or a black person, however many generations, go back to Africa? That's not racist when it's said about the whites, maybe. But I'm not going to get into all of that, because even presenting the facts now, I guess, is seen as hateful. And, you know, I guess it's lucky that I don't have a MAGA hat out here, even though I fantasize about wearing one sometimes. Anyway, I just think the media gets caught with its pants down, and we still give them a pass for it. You know, we still want these John Olivers and Trevor Noahs and whatever else to talk us to sleep at night. You know, I remember watching Jay Leno when I would go to bed. I liked having the TV on. Anyway, so that's the narrative, and that's the outrage that we're following, and it's like cats watching a laser beam. And it completely detracts from the fact that, well, there was a pro-life rally that had hundreds of thousands in attendance, and there was no media coverage of that, only this small, overblown, stupid incident in Washington, D.C. And I'm outraged, just as I'm supposed to be, just as you are, just as we've all been trained to feel. You know, they press the buzzer, and that's the feeling, that's the reward we get. That's what we click on, that's what gets us fighting. That's what gets discussion going on these pages, even though we would be much more civil face-to-face, I think. The frightening prospect here is that people are getting hurt by these outrage fests, and that people every day are getting thrown under the bus from these false and pernicious media lies. Over and out.